Right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We've got OLIVEIRA in the top left side of the map playing Zerg, REYNOR in the bottom right playing Terran, and of course, you've already heard the news by now. OLIVEIRA has retired. This was played as one of his final matches before retiring from StarCraft. The 2023 World Champion who said, you know, he was actually apparently already on the way out, thinking about retiring soon. And then he went and won the World Championship, and he said, you know what, maybe now let's go out while I'm on top, because there's no higher than this, which I thought was crazy to find that out. But he said, you know what, I'm going to compete more because there's these big tournaments, game, you know, there was Gamers 8 got announced, and then Esports World Cup. So he said, you know what, became World Champion start of 2023. Let's keep playing and let's keep seeing what heights he could reach. But yeah, he decided to actually do some fun off racing in his final tournament. We've already heard about, you know, he played some PVTs, you know, off-raced here, there, and everywhere. Played some Terran versus Clem's Protoss, which is, of course, incredibly hard to pull off. But here, against REYNOR, REYNOR no doubt said, you know what, dude, I'm not going to let you off-race versus me. No way. You ain't embarrassing me. Plus, also, I'm pretty sure they would have offered. I don't think OLIVEIRA would have said, I'm going to play Zerg versus REYNOR Zerg. I'm pretty sure he just said, hey, do you want to off-race? And REYNOR said, sure thing. And I think REYNOR realized if he plays Protoss, he's just going to hammer OLIVEIRA. But if he plays Terran, REYNOR's Terran's pretty good. I would say 6.2, maybe 6.2. But this is a tough matchup because ZVT is so knife's edge. On the other hand, how good is OLIVEIRA's defense? I mean, OLIVEIRA's got a good off race, but I don't know if he's going to be on the same level of someone like REYNOR, whose speed just translates so very well. That's right, guys. OLIVEIRA did retire after, I believe it was this actual group stage in this tournament. This is the big... the LiuLi 2024 finals tournament. Yeah, we had a lot of good matches here. Now, 3 hatchery this early is not a good build in this matchup. Assuming your opponent knows how to micro this Reaper well. Now, I don't know how good REYNOR's opening was. I don't think that Reaper was perfectly timed, but pretty close. That hatchery seems dangerously early. And I mean, he's just not going to transfer workers to his natural. Oh, okay. So his idea is, look, you come in, but if I don't send drones to my natural, you don't have any easy pickings. And these lings should pop out just in time. If he pulls the drone away quickly, he might not even have to do an extractor trick. And indeed, he doesn't. And then the queens will come out. I mean, it's not a terrible opening. It feels weird to me, you know, building the lings that late and not mining from the natural early on. But he does avoid doing those extra building tricks that players normally have to. And he will have the 3rd hatchery up earlier than normal, but his link speed is also pretty darn quick. I'm curious to see how this one plays out. Now, you guys are watching live. Let me know if the music volume seems okay. I had it up listening to some other tunes, but the StarCraft soundtrack is incredibly loud because it's quite epic at points. So just let me know if it sounds a bit too overbearing, and I will turn that down. All right, we're resuming the replay there. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I think it was a little bit loud. There's going to be more very loud bits when it hits. If we hit like a StarCraft 1 track, those are especially loud. So, yeah, we just cranked it down a little. For whatever reason, those StarCraft soundtracks are just a bit louder than the other music I've been listening to recently. Ooh, that Reaper's going to pull away. Creep Tumor goes down. Okay, check it out, guys. Overlord coming in from the back door. OLIVEIRA with a pretty good scout. So far, no actual kills other than the 2 Zerglings and the Creep Tumor, but that's a good start for a Reaper, especially since it has survived. Overlord pokes in, sees it's a Hellion Banshee opening, and this is with no 3rd command center. This is old school. So REYNOR is going to play an old school aggressive opening, which you could argue is good on this map because you've got like these angles to come in here. You've got the angle here with the Hellions, and Banshees can come around the back. There's so much dead space to work with. On the other hand, the reason this stuff fell out of favor is if the Zerg is just really on point with their Queen defense, they can handle it quite well. Now, Lair goes down very fast. That's reactive. He wasn't planning to do that because he saw a cloak, and he wants to skip spores. OLIVEIRA is trying to cut the corner, delay, just not build spores at all, or maybe only one in the main, and defend with Overseer Queen, which is the most efficient thing you can do. Problem, he's only on 5 queens. So OLIVEIRA needs to... Oh, he needs Overlords. Oh, he's supply blocked, isn't he? But yeah, he needs to queue up 3 queens. Like 2 right now need to be started. It's so late getting past the initial 5 queen count. He's trying to throw down some more creep. Hellion Reaper comes forward. The queens are there to defend. Good Overlord coverage from Ollie as well. Ollie, of course, playing the other side of this matchup. Both of them normally playing on the opposite sides of this matchup. We'll see how well they can do. Third command center comes down in the wall, and the factory lifts off, building a new reactor, ready for that starport to go on it once it's finished with Banshee production. I think another creep tumor may have been sniped there, but if it was, not hugely impactful. Spore crawler's going down anyway. Oh, so he ends up building 3 spores anyway. Oh, Oliveira's build. I gave him a bit too much credit. That's just an off-race player clicking lair way too fast then. Don't get me wrong, the overseers would be good, but going for the overseers and the spores both is kind of costly. Hellion's going to run in the front at the same time. Oh, decent bounce on the queen. Can he get more? How many Zerglings are out? Only 12 right now. Where are those lings? They're counterattacking. They can't get the command center though. Oh, it's barbecue time, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, Oliveira's drones are on the menu. Some people are out there. They're like, oh, how do you like to marinate your drones? Do you get one of those like very American kind of Buffalo Wild Wings vinegary sort of marinades? Are we just talking about a sweet, sticky barbecue sauce? Do we put the spice up? Right now, Reynor is basting them in a very salty mixture. I got to tell you guys, if I was in Oliveira's shoes right now, it would be ultimate salt. And not only would it be salt, but Reynor has basically sliced his opponent's wounds open, and then he's poured salt and chili in those wounds. He just killed 30 drones. The man just massacred him. That is brutal damage. Now, if we want to play devil's advocate, you can actually take way more damage in this scenario as Zerg because the Terran's third command center is so delayed from the fast 3cc build. So you can take way more damage than a normal build because the Terran's follow-up isn't as smooth. But obviously 30 drones is too many. Like, yeah, you're like, I smell a big butt coming. Yeah, of course. Of course, that's still way too much damage. He's still miles behind. He's also just taken a while to get his drones back up, right? His drone count's not that high. 46 drones right now. 4th base on the top right. That base is there. 1-1 upgrades and Bane Speed are on the way. Oh, what's up with this tank? What are you doing? Oh, he's doing the defensive tank. Okay, yeah. So Reynor is a big believer in this, guys. He thinks if you don't put this tank here as a Terran, you actually have brain damage. He's like, you realize this defends every attempt to run by that Zerg can do. If you just always put a tank above the third, run the SCVs. If Ling Bane comes in, easiest defense of your life, and you're literally unbreakable against any committed Ling Bane assault, right? Yeah, I remember watching him off-race versus Straya in Dallas. They played this epic macro Zerg versus Terran, and Reynor always had 2 tanks above his third base on site Delta, and just the Ling run-bys could not find any damage. And yeah, he was like, yeah, Zergs, Terran players are idiots if they don't do this, basically. And I was like, well, it's a little condescending, but yeah, you probably are right. The Marines getting amazing damage. Reynor trades out a bunch of Marines, but I mean, how many queens did he kill? 7 queens have gone down in this game. And of course, he's on 5 barracks. He's building tanks. His armory's almost finished. Second factory coming in now at the third base. So he's going to be able to just keep attacking with Marine tank. He should actually unsiege and just go win, I think, would be the easiest way to do it right now. He can just go. I don't think Oliveira can spare units for a counterattack. The Marines keeping that creep contained. This northern side does look like a very attractive push path. Down here, I mean, you could always siege behind these rocks is nice, even though there is more creep there right now. Tank there, tank over here or something. Maybe ferry a tank across with a medevac. 3 tanks, 36 Marines. Not something 50 Zerglings and 7 Banelings really have much of a chance against. +2 weapon starts. +2 armor does not start. Reynor. Oh, lots of Zerglings running into the meat grinder of Marine tank. 3 more barracks go down. That's after the 4th command center. So just very standard macro follow-up. Not leaning into an 8 racks push or anything like that. 8 racks is actually something Reynor has nightmares about. And he's not going to use it himself, though. He's going to play a bit more of a standard style, gearing himself up for the late game. Those tanks are very far back. And leaving no Marines guarding the tanks, I think this is too many Marines on the front. I think you're better off in this scenario leaving 16 Marines on the back, 16 Marines on the front, because otherwise, as you can see, that tank gets jumped on, and it goes down pretty quickly. He's also only got 3 medevacs, which is not enough to load them all in. Then again, he didn't even get inside the medevac in time. Does lose a lot of Marines and tanks. Great cleanup for Oliveira, who's hanging on very nicely. Does have +2 melee. Needs that +2 carapace to start. And you know what? Not too far behind on the upgrades. He's only down 10 workers, which, I mean, why would I say only there? That's terrible against a Terran, right? At this point, or down a few workers, I should say. Being down on workers at this stage is awful. Like, he needs to kill 10, 15 workers, and that might buy him a few minutes. That could maybe allow him to get to 80 workers and, build up a 5th base and all that sort of stuff. But double drop, triple drop in the top right, double drop in the left. Drop the right, drop the top, drop the bot, drop the top. It's Terran right now, dropping the high ground, dropping the low ground. Was that the Rebecca Black cover? Is that the one that had that as the lyric in it? I think it was. Anyways, Ling Bane rolling in. A couple Lings on that third, but that tank on the high ground. Reynor's safety net. Nice double drop inside the main. We'll take a few Banelings, but that's okay. The Marines can take a Baneling to the face. He picks him up, gets him out of there. This drop on that side did get cleared, though. All those Marines went down. And you know what? He didn't run the SCVs early enough, so the tank probably killed just as many SCVs as the Zerglings did. 8 workers going down there. Oliveira's got to make this game scrappy, but Whispers of Gold is prohibitively difficult to find a way. Yeah, it was the Friday, getting down on Friday, right? But it was the old Husky version, yeah. The old Kurt Hugo Schneider. Command Center does lift off. We've got the Marines running in that left side as well. Ling Bane pokes forward. Burrow's a good idea on a big map. I think this map's too small to get a lot of value out of Burrow because there's just not enough places for you to burrow Banelings. It's going to be really hard. I would say Infestors would be really nice. You guys know I have an Infestor fetish because I do feel it's one of the ways you can catch a Terran and remove their ability to micro. On the other hand, Oliveira is rather broke and on only 64 workers. How does he really find a way to afford anything? Spores in the main are good, but you really need that creep to the edges, which is why he's spreading that now so we can move those spores forward to try and prohibit Reynor from dropping in the main in future. But triple mine productions here. I think Drilling Claw's already finished. Yes, it did. +2 vehicle plating on the way. Reynor should be able to... Reynor should be able to finish this game off. But he's got to start pushing. And he may be traumatized from throwing Marines away in the past. I've seen him lose very close Zerg versus Terrans against Clem when they were both playing reverse race, where he just wasn't looking at the right time and his Marines got blown up. Oh, Widow Mines, killing a lot of his own Marauders there. I mean, yes, it kills some Zerglings, but pretty decent splash damage on the Marauders. Oliveira down 40 army supply. 2-2 versus 2-2. If there's ever a time to fight, this is it. Double drop still hanging out, being annoying on the left side. Reynor on the right. He's got a 5th command center building. I wouldn't mind Reynor just going to command center town right now. He's just going to start moving his Widow Mines forward, being very careful. You can see he's very methodical. It's kind of funny. Reynor almost looks like Cure. Cure's a player who he kind of makes fun of a little bit, saying, well, he's just not fast enough to keep up with the best, but... He hangs in there like a beast, does Oliveira for 5 minutes, and then he has the most Platinum League Zerg leave of all time, where he looks at this and he's like, all it takes is one good Widow Mine hit, killing 14 Zerglings, and you're like, no, I'm out. Nice win in game 1. I mean, Oliveira was basically dead man walking for the last 5 minutes. It's fair enough to leave there. It was just kind of funny timing. Oh, right. Reynor has swapped to Terran. Wait, he was Terran in the last game. No, Oliveira swapped to Protoss. Ah, okay. Oliveira's like, I'd like to play the easy race, please. Zerg is too hard. You know, having every single production building on one hotkey just too difficult for me. So I'm going to go play Protoss. Now, to be fair, if he just didn't lose 30 drones in the early game, Oliveira looked really good. Now, you can look at that last game and be like, Oliveira is so bad. Well, you can say his defense against the Hellion Banshee was so bad. And the main reason is he sent his Lings across. If he didn't send his Lings across for the counterattack, if he had 12 Zerglings to help his Queens defend, that would have really helped out. I also think rushing the lair as early as he did, super unnecessary. And getting supply blocked on 58. Having his 6th and 7th Queen as delayed, basically Oliveira scuffed his opening and just took game-ending damage in the early game of that last game, right? Like, that's what happened. And that's a very common Zerg thing, but also Reynor leaned heavily into the aggression. So if I was Oliveira, I would probably play Zerg again, unless we're just looking for the fun of the variety, and I would just fix the opening, because I think he could go toe-to-toe with Reynor's Terran from what we saw in that game. Nonetheless, it's Abyssal Reef. It's a big map with some nasty ledges. We all know about tank sieging down here and how they can hit the workers on these mineral patches. And that this ramp's very hard to get up and down. No wall off or anything like that. Just really simple building placement. Now, the reason why you want to hug your pylons with buildings, guys, I will never stop telling this tip because the number of Protoss who just have the ugliest bases I've ever seen. If you put a building right up against it, one of these normal-sized 3x3 buildings, you can fit another one on the other side in the power field. But if you leave a space between the building and the pylon, you can't fit anything on the other side. So you literally halve, or sometimes even less than halve, your production space. Whereas you guys will see me often with a single pylon build like 10 gateways on it, right? And then you'll see low-level players barely fit 3 gateways on a single pylon and complain about their base running out of space all the time. And I'm like, stop! Place your buildings better, chat! Anyway, Zealot's coming out. We're going to see an Adept. No, a Stalker. Okay, so it's going to be Zealot goes across the map. Not trying to dodge the Reaper is a bit surprising. I guess he could hide in the grass potentially. Ah, no, because it goes up there, doesn't it? The Reaper naturally jumps up the ledge to take a shortcut. And Reynor, he likes that low ground command center. He's going to regret that. That Zealot's going to ruin him, man. Reaper comes in. Stalker says, get out. Get out. This is my base. Remember, guys, the Stalker's weapon is a particle disruptor. One of the saddest sounding weapons I've ever heard. This guy, on the other hand, has Psy Blades. Taste my Psy. Taste my Psy. The SCV is like, well, I have a drill and I have some minerals in my hand. But, nah, I'm not going to fight the 9-foot-tall alien mother trucker. I mean, this, if you look at his Zealot, guys, he's basically that big blue guy from the best Aliens movie, Prometheus, who comes out and they're like, oh, why did you make us? And he's like, you're ugly little shit. And then starts like just crushing skulls and throwing them around. That's essentially what a Zealot is. And Reynor right now, he's going to be actually microing, unlike the super intelligent characters in that film. But like that was my favorite film. I think my favorite thing they've got to find a way to write their way past in the Aliens films is understanding a base, like just in the writing. What if they did this? You guys let me know. What if they made the characters show the vaguest understanding of the dangers of biocontaminants and potential diseases and viruses and things when you're in an alien world? What do you guys think that would be? Maybe something they could maybe write a way into that whole series of like the people not being complete effing morons? Because I feel like it's not that hard to not make your characters idiots. You know, like you can come up with some sort of reasoning as to why they're always taking their helmets off on alien planets and getting instantly infected. Ripley tried, they opened the door anyway. Morons! All right, let's talk about the build. Second gateway, Robo's there. Third gate coming up. 3-gate Blink, safest build in the house. With this, you can still usually get a third Nexus up about 4:30. We'll see how we go. Oh, did I already swear in this cast? I guess I did. Ah, well, the occasional swear is not the end of the world. Drops going out to the left. Yeah, he's going to go for that 433rd. So, okay, so Reynor's going to go for an 8 Marine drop, but he's sending it on a very roundabout path. I guess he just wants to make sure it doesn't get caught and use it more of a counter-attack. He's also going for a Lib. That was a spike grenade there. Actually, well, he does survive. Nexus goes down. But interestingly, Liberator's building. So it looks like Reynor's going to... Oh, he's got to build another tank. Yeah, he's going to go for a Marine tank Lib push on this angle. He's going to use this drop to try to pull Oliveira home. Now, if Oliveira can defend only using war pins, keep these Stalkers on the front, there's no way Reynor gets across the map. But if Reynor can get across the map without the Stalkers constantly harassing him as he tries to, that could be huge. All right, tank already scares him off. He's going to have to rotate to the right. Third command center goes down. Reynor... What? Wow, crazy blink forward. But you know what? Reynor's other tank wasn't actually sieged up, and that Widowmine was just a little bit too far back. If that Widowmine was a little further forward, maybe it would have been able to fire, but the Warp Prism Micro was really good by Ollie. Nice snap recall. Reynor, you got to get out. Get to the corner. Get to the corner. The corner does end up happening. Only 2 Stalkers recalled, though. Pretty conservative recall. This is a good play. As long as Oliveira harasses him with these Stalkers, he can do some good stuff. He loses 1. Even just cutting off the reinforcement this early makes this really awkward for Reynor. Good hot pickup by Ollie. Gets 2 Marines, gets 3 Marines, saves all the Stalkers. He's also... Oh, Liberator's going to make things problematic, though. Oh, Oliveira knows the build. He knows the build, though. He knows there's going to be a Liberator, so he preemptively warps in the Stalkers. He's microing in the side at the same time, but unfortunately he's not watching. He's too busy microing the front. He blinks forward. He just blinked forward. He gets himself a tank kill, but he's losing Stalkers for it. Multiple Stalkers go down. Meanwhile, another Stalker, I think, died over here because I only see one of them, but he does at least get rid of the Liberator. He loses a Stalker and 5 probes to the Lib. The drop in the main as well. Reynor creating problems, stressing out the multitasking. I think those Marines, they could just shift-click the probes potentially. They're going to take out a Stalker, though. These Stalkers trying to intercept the rally, but they're all so weak right now. This game is what I would refer to as a hot mess. If charge was coming in, it would really simplify things for Oliveira, but he doesn't have charge coming. Those Marines will get taken down there. We've got a Reaper on the third. The drop goes down to the main. Stalkers surviving in the deep red. Here comes the attack on the front. It's 6 Marines, a Widowmine, 4 SCVs, and a tank. And I think Reynor wisely turns around and goes home because he's already killed 9 probes. He's done good damage. He's got a third command center. Just don't throw your army away and make sure you can survive. If you can just defend with these 3 tanks, you go tank here, tank up here, Or maybe you just put them all here. I don't know. Every tank there. You basically just set up defensively on 2 base. You wait for your 4th and 5th barracks to come in, as well as your stim and shields on the 2nd and 3rd barracks, because they're all very delayed, because you committed really hard to 1-1-1 aggression. 1 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. We're pumping out medevacs, libs, and units. Tanks, marines, all early game. You've got... No, you can't float that out. Reynor, that's a mistake, mate. There's no way you can defend that 3rd base. Oh, Reynor not showing the understanding of this situation. Guys, in this scenario, you oversaturate 2 bases for a very long time. You also, I mean, he's so weak right now. The moment charge comes in, he is screwed, man. I like that he scans there. The Viking will get rid of the observer, but he's moving into a very open area. When that charge finishes, I mean, you know Oliveira might even get him even before charge. Reynor showing no respect to the blink counter aggression. When you delay your 2nd and 3rd barracks, you are giving up such an important part of that Terran tech, the stim and the shields. And without the stim shields, the medevacs, you're in trouble. He still doesn't have them started because his barracks only now are on the tech labs and he's focused on the front instead. That tank needs to siege, dude. Those marines need to be in front. The tank needs to siege. The stalkers, are they going to go for it? No, they blink back. 1 stalker goes down. Viking barely survives. I love the SCVs pulling back. If they can repair that Viking, that will be really nice against that warp prison. Marines are pretty damaged though. They got to stay near the siege tanks. 1 marine does get picked off. Oliveira with some very good micro. He's going to go storm charge behind it. And remember, stim and shields has not started. Reynor, he's on 66 workers. Economically, he's in a good spot. And normally, if you've opened up of the normal situation, you find yourself with this sort of economy, 3 base versus 3 base, Terran has more workers, it's awful for Protoss. But we see Protoss always make comebacks in these scenarios because these upgrades and these medevacs are so late, which means Protoss now has a lot of time to go double forge, build more gateways, take a 4th nexus, you know, do all these things. This 4th nexus is awful, by the way. I think this one over here, or maybe even that one there, is actually way better. Problem with this one is you need to basically break the rocks yourself and be able to hold this high ground to defend it, which I guess with Psystorm he might be able to do. But you got to be really wary of either lib or tank pushers coming either from this angle or below this ledge. This 4th base in general is a bit of a trap. Same if you're playing Zerg. Anytime you're playing against a Terran, think twice before you take this base. Even as a Zerg versus Protoss, I don't like this base because Stalkers can come down here with Oracles and you can't really defend this area, especially if it's Stalker Colossus. But you know what? Reynor survived the scariest part. It's looking like he might be able to get that 2-0 actually, because he's got the 4th command, and as long as he's good in a macro game, he should be pretty decent. Oh, he's only got 1 engineering bay. Oh, he does need a 2nd E bay. Yeah, the thing is you don't have kill timings with these builds. That's what I was talking about with like how you kind of end up delayed on everything. You end up, I have more stuff, but you just don't have the tech to go kill the Protoss, which means, well, you can build to late game. Are you good enough at late game to take down the Protoss? Now, most players would say Protoss late game is easier to do at a good level than Terran. Doesn't mean it's better. It means it's easier to, like, you know, do some Zealot DT counterattacks, do some storms, that sort of stuff. Problem, these guys, I think in 2025, even when it's their weakest off race, which I think for Reynor it's his weakest off race, for Oliveira it's probably his 2nd best race. I would imagine his Zerg's his weakest. I think that their late game is so much better. Like, a player's off race 5 years ago would be nowhere near as good as it is today. Nowhere near as good. So I think especially the late game knowledge is way higher. Oh, Widowmine's going to one-shot that. Warp Prism goes down on the right side. 2-1 upgrades only. Yeah, not really finished yet. I think Oliveira needs to get on the map just to control space, but he's actually warping in Mass Stalker right now. I don't like his army at all. I mean, you need Stalkers to focus down enemy High Templar, but I actually think Reynor, with 5 Ghosts, 13 Marauders, 26 Marines, if he can just get into 2nd Starport and Libs, you know, if he can head towards range Libs, because he's on 4 base, like that's what you have to do here. I don't really think Ollie can do too much, and I think Reynor could actually sneak a double or triple drop out. And if he were to do that, that would be incredibly effective. Now, this wall-off's a little weak on this side. You can actually reinforce this wall-off if you want as the Terran. For now, he's focusing on this right side. Oh, Stalker did not blink in time there. Widowmine's being a bit of a nuisance. That time he does dodge it. EMP lands on the High Templar and the Immortal. Widowmines do get cleared up, and Oliveira, no sign of Robo Bay. He's on 10 gateways. He's on 80 probes right now. He's getting jumped on the Ghost Run far forward, and that's going to be a beautiful dive there for Reynor. Gets a few Immortals, gets a few High Templar, 2 High Templar, 2 Immortals and a Prism have gone down in terms of the power units. There are still a few High Templar scattered across the map. High energy High Templar there. And I think Reynor should not be attacking in one direction. I think this is a mistake a lot of players make versus Templar, is they want to fight in one spot so they can always, nice Storm Drop, so they can always land the EMPs correctly. But as you can see, you will run out of those EMPs before they run out of storms more often than not. You've got to be very cautious. I think sometimes abusing the multi-prong can be the better way, but we'll see how it goes. Attacking to the planetary is legitimately insane. What the hell is Oliveira doing? This is a crazy move. He has so much storm. The Vikings will take care of the prism. The single tank, the planetary defending. Oliveira down 4,000 resources lost. That man just saw he literally ran up to, you know, the Helm's Deep, the Lord of the Rings film scene, Helm's Deep, where there's like the Uruk-hai who has the barrel of explosives, and Legolas is trying to shoot him down, and he runs forward and he blows up the wall, right? He puts it in like the little drainage canal or whatever it is underneath the wall. We just saw that, but what happened is Oliveira, it wasn't actually a weak part of the wall. He found the strongest part of the wall, and he ran up and just punched it. He didn't have any explosives. Attacking into that planetary is legitimately insane. Now, Reynor's army's a bit weak. Reynor's got to respect. If he takes one more storm in this army, he can lose his whole army. But I really feel like if you can get a counter drop out there, that's going to be massive. A double counter drop is kind of crazy right now. The other thing is, where is the second starport? He's building a fusion core, but second starport's more important, and I think replacing that factory on the reactor is usually the way you do it. Got to get that going sooner rather than later. Oliveira does have a 5th base up. He should take a 6th and a 7th because his bases are mining out. 85 probes is a massive number, and he's got to maintain an income advantage if he's going to keep trading like this. It's kind of funny because I've played a lot of players who play like Oliveira does here on the ladder, and every time I play them, I'm shocked by their just absolute disrespect for their units' lives. It's like they will find the strongest defensive position and just headbutt into it repeatedly, and you're like, are you trying to win? Like, do you just have a philosophy of just attacking is always good? Like, this can't be good for Protoss. Does get a medevac and a Viking there. That actually was a good mini skirmish there. Anytime you force a stim, that's good as well. Oh, but the Stalker's just got a double drop. 2 drops. 3 drops went in. Only 1 drop leaves, guys. He did get spotted by this Observer. I was wondering if the Observer saw him or not. Nice move there. So Oliveira gets a bit of value. He's only down 2,000 resources in the units lost. Like I said, I do think he needs to take a 6th and a 7th base because as his bases start kind of mining out and stuff, he's going to start to need those. Double Disruptor production's on the way. No Skytoss transition. 3-2 upgrades at the same time for both players. Ship weapons as well. The second starport finally coming in for Reynor. Still no range libs, which is crazy to me. Reynor does have a 5th command center finally building, but he's just been so focused on rebuilding his bio, of course. And he is going to take down that High Templar. He doesn't want to use a snipe. He wants to just click it. Ooh, feedback does land. Another High Templar goes out. You can see he's winning the trades with the Ghosts. But, oh, he eats a giant storm on his army. He stood in that for way too long. He lands another EMP, but there's more where that came from. Those 2 tanks backing up the planetary, though, making this an unassailable position. Planetary on 9 kills, right tank on 4, left tank on 6. And, I mean, I like that Oliveira is controlling space, because that's what you need to do with High Templar. But he's down to just 2 High Templar now. And I think he's actually got to keep replacing those. Oh, decent storm. No, not really. Disruptor comes forward. Reynor pulling back. There's still storms in there and disruptors. Another disruptor lands, gets a Marine and clips a Marauder. Disruptors are in the open. Reynor really would like to kill these units, but he's still worried about the storm. There's still 1 more storm in there, and it does cover his retreat quite nicely. Disruptor goes down, as does the other disruptor. Oh, very nice. Reynor does lose a Marauder and a Marine to that disruptor shot. Still, 2,500 resource loss difference, which means they're trading pretty evenly, and Oliveira has access to more bases. He has a bit more bank right now. He's got his army spread. No storm anymore, though. It's just Zealot, Arc on Stalker. Reynor's army does seem better, but remember, Reynor's Ghosts are 3 supply now, and that actually really affects you at max out. He's going to run back after clicking on the disruptors. The tank's coming forward. Not too sure how I feel about that. And I really feel like Reynor needs to grab some bio, split around the map, and counterattack. Focusing in one area, though, is what he feels like he has to do because Oliveira is so in his face. But, uh-oh, Medevac's in the open. He's kind of separated himself from his siege units. Oh, 2 Ghosts and 2 Marauders with that disruptor shot. Very nicely done there. Ollie's going to come around with a few Zealots on the bottom side. Uh-oh, this could be big. Depots are open. They're damaged, and the planetary is not up on this base. It's rare that you catch Reynor without the planetary already in position. He's going to lose a command center there, and depots, and the attack's going to come in at the front at the same time. Oliveira finally finding that weakness. He's finally finding that weakness. Zealots on the right, Zealots on the left, and the army blinks in the middle. Starts taking out the libs in the tanks. 2 libs go down, as do the siege tanks. The disruptors only really clip 1 Marauder. He's got Storm and the medevacs, though. Reynor's medevacs do get out of there. He's cleaned up the Zealots back at home. His bio's pulled back, but he just lost a bunch of his units. He lost the new extra 6th command center. And you can see how these sort of trades, yeah, they're a little sloppy. Yeah, he's back down 4,000 resources, 3.5, whatever. Doesn't matter. Sloppy is good because as long as Oliveira keeps taking these bases, has the map control, has the Terran pinned, how does REYNOR get out of this cage that he's been put in? All right, Zealots moving down that right side. They're mostly getting cleaned up. +2 ship weapons is on the way. We've already got Caduceus Reactor and Lib range finished. +2 ship weapons a key upgrade, allowing those Liberators to one-shot Stalkers after the EMP lands. Ghost up front does get targeted. Lib's trying to siege in the middle of combat. That's a little sloppy. The Stalkers will be able to deal with those, but the Bio does come in as well. Storm's holding them back. Oh, those Libs went way too far forward. REYNOR takes a sloppy trade there. Oliveira, once again, ballsy movements for him. Oh, but a massive Bio flank from the north. I was like, where is the rest of his army? There's the rest of his army. Never mind. That works out excellently. REYNOR's Libs were not good, but it kind of baited Oliveira into staying and taking a fight when it didn't feel like his army was that big. 6,000 resources lost. And this is a massive win for REYNOR. Colossus coming out right now. REYNOR looks like he's got enough army supply to push on the production. Oh, that Colossus, nice micro. That Colossus is in a cage. It's actually stuck there. That's what we call a Colossus turret, guys. The bad building placement Colossus stuck there defending that base. He was setting up for exactly this moment. It was totally planned. Definitely not a mistake. Fire coming forward right now. The Zealot Stalker try to engage. Oh, Zealot flank from the right is actually really nice. There are more units coming in though, and REYNOR happy to stand his ground. He's got Lib sieging as well. Dude, devastating plays here for REYNOR. Lib's gonna siege the left base, the middle, the base down here as well. And this one goes down. And that Nexus is gonna fall. It does look like REYNOR will be able to get the victory in this series. Stalker's hanging on. Oliveira's like, I don't give it up. I got bank. But he doesn't have anything like big to make a comeback, right? The Colossus turret is still there. That ain't gonna last for long. That's gonna go down now to the Stimmin. The Robos are exposed. Lib's taking out all the probes. And REYNOR just showing really good patient TVP after putting on that heavy pressure in the opening. I like that REYNOR both games, we've seen him play heavy pressure. And he's done that super heavy pressure in the early game. And then he's just gone full macro off the back of it. Make your opponent uncomfortable, then do full macro. Now, Stalker Zealot's coming forward. REYNOR playing super careful, just gathering his whole army. He's going to send half to the bottom, half to the north, gets a few Stalkers in the middle. And what does Ollie have? He's got a few High Templar. They're not really spread out right now. He's trying to rebuild a Nexus. Be crazy if Oliveira brings back this game, but being down 10,000 units in the resources lost, and REYNOR now building those extra command centers to ensure that his position continues. It's not just an army advantage, it's also going to be an economy advantage the longer this goes. Stalkers blink forward, get a Lib, but he will lose a bunch of Stalkers for that, so those are not cheap trades. You know, Lib's such a dangerous unit, so sometimes you think trading 2-3 Stalkers for it is good, but cost for cost it is not. Oh, great Storms! Great Storms. Comes in with the high ground one as well. Medevac starts to go down. Now this Nexus on the left goes down, so I think REYNOR's happy to let his Bio on the right side get a little damage. There is a High Templar in the open. He's got to be careful. Zoning Storm does hold him back. Another Stalker goes down as well. Does a probe. This is so devastating for Oliveira. Just finding himself locked in his corner of the map. He does have 3 Colossus and there's no Vikings. There's also no Libs being rebuilt, I guess because he's maxed, but also because REYNOR's just so bio-focused, right? He's got 3 Ghosts, he's building 4 more, trying to make sure he has those EMPs, and those Ghosts chew up so much supply. Bio on the Logan. I like that he pulled the Ghost back manually. Stalkers blink in to take out the Lib. Kind of a crazy move. Blinking into Marauders and Ghosts, never my favorite thing to do, but this hidden base up top is the lifeline. REYNOR has no idea that's there. He thinks you're back to your initial 5 base setup. I'm taking a 6th, and I've killed so much army and bases. You're basically dead. But this one base hiding in the top. I should have mentioned it earlier. I kept just assuming in the chaos REYNOR would send something up there and find it, but he hasn't. And now it's been mining for like 5 or more minutes. You can see the minerals. Yeah, half mine. It's about 4 minutes of mining non-stop. Marauder Marine coming to the top. All right, more probes going down. Another 2-prong. Beautiful 2-prong. He's got to be careful about getting jumped on, is all. And then when he's like distracted or panicked, REYNOR might take some big storms. He's going to try and engage. This is a smaller army for REYNOR, but massive EMPs. It's not enough army for him to actually overwhelm, though. Even with good EMPs, he takes out a few Archons, takes out a Colossus, and has to run away. So I think, yes, he caught Oliveira not looking, but he just didn't have the numbers to properly capitalize on it. Oliveira's hanging in there. Oliveira's maxed out now. 15 Zealots, 4 Archons, 3 High Templar, 2 Warp Prisms, and 3 Colossus. Reynor doesn't have Vikings for the Colossus or the Prism. There's no High Templar in the Prism, though. Bio trying to get hunted down. He's pulling back. This is only a small section of Reynor's army. He needs the rest of the army over here. He's got to drop some EMPs before he goes down as well. He's going to take out a Prism. Didn't have any units in it, though. He's pulling back. That's an orbital, not a planetary. He's got to give this base up. Oh, another big Storm. Storm drop chases him down. Where's the rest of the army? Reynor has a lot of units in. Medevacs on the right side. This base is undefended right now. He's got to give this base up. Reynor has to give this base up. He might be getting too stubborn right now. He lost a lot of units on the way home. Reynor has a lot of units in production, but he's going to lose a lot of workers down there and a command center that was an orbital. Should not have had an orbital on that base, and that's going to cost him. He's got to go back to defending his planetary now. He doesn't expect the attack to continue, but he's like, wait, you're going to keep attacking? Remember, this is Oliveira. This is the man who's been running up to the wall and punching it with his Uruk-hai from the start of this series. This man has no respect for planetary fortresses, and I think that's what happens when you off-race. You think planetaries are like, they just melt, man. They melt. They're so bad. I've played Terran vs. Protoss before. In this case, though, Reynor dives in front of the planetary. He's got a good army, but man, running into Colossus Archon like that, a questionable decision for Reynor. He was not maxed back out again yet, and now he's actually taken some really bad trades. He was up to like 12, 13,000 resources more efficient. Now he's only ahead 11,000 in the trading. But man, dude, it's back to very even supply. I can't believe Oliveira's back in this game. This hidden base. It's not even really a hidden base, but it's just a base in the top. Reynor's finally going to find it. Oh, let's go to Reynor's camera, guys. We're on Reynor's camera right now. He always SCV survived. Down the bottom. Oliveira didn't kill those SCVs. Okay, the Liberator sees this base, and he's like, oh, you do have that base. And he should realize from how low those minerals are that it's been mining for a while. Liberator's just going to hide there for now. And this is just going to force Stalkers to stay on this side of the map. This is a really good move by Reynor. Just, you know, be annoying. Don't actually siege it up until there's other things happening, because forcing your opponent's attention away while other stuff is happening is way more valuable. Reynor's back to a 20 army supply lead, but he's moving out to the right and the left at the same time. This is what I call the Maru mistake. Maru does this every late game versus Serral. He tries to expand to both sides, and it just gives the opponent easy attack angles. Nice siege on the Lib, though. The Stalker's a little slow to react. Probes do pull away. But look at that, free SCVs. And then when your army moves to respond, he's going to hit the left base. Reynor's setting himself up for failure right now. This is a classic mistake Terrans make in the late game, trying to expand to two opposite sides of the map. So he's already taken damage on the right. His army shifts out of position, and now he takes damage on the left. No! He was in such a good position, but now he loses a command center there. These Zealots are going to damage the planetary. The Bio's going to clean up, but he's got to pull back over here. You've got to respect the power of the Protoss mobility, because you have a better army, but you have to keep it together and micro it actively. The Protoss can just roll some Zealots or DTs in, much lower APM required and attention, and more mobile with those units. So that's a big cost, 21 workers. Now he decides, okay, let's consolidate on the right side, but he could have done that, had an extra orbital and an extra 20 workers up. That is a big mistake. And that's like, you know, this is one of those moments where I'm sure there's one guy's like, oh, you can tell Pig watches the game before it happens because he knows what's going to happen. This is something. Guys, I've cast 14,000 games of StarCraft. I've played like 50,000 games of StarCraft. Probably a lot more than that. Probably 100,000. There's patterns you start to see when you have no life, right? There are patterns you start to see. This is not because I'm a genius. It's because I just look at more of the game than anyone else. I have more hours in it. And it's pretty obvious as a Terran who's got, you know, orbitals going to both sides. He's going to be exposed. And now the planetary goes down. This time, Oliveira actually brings the explosive barrel, decides to blow up that planetary. It's kind of easy when you don't have any archers shooting arrows at you from the walls, as he found that the Helm's Deep wall kind of completely undefended there. Bio running up the north as well. He's going to go in the Nexus. Finally, is Reynor going to get rid of the hidden base, but it's nowhere near as important anymore. And Oliveira is going to push in. Now, if the Vikings could get rid of those Colossus as they got the ramp, that could be a big, nice EMP, but you can't run into the Zealot Archon, mate. Oh, bad fight for Reynor on the low ground. The Zealot Archon's getting a good trade. The Vikings do take out 2 of the Colossus, but there's still 2 standing. And it just feels like Reynor's taking so much damage. A lot of his army is still on the other side. If he could wear this down efficiently... Wait. Reynor still has a giant army. Reynor still has a giant army. He could do this. Oh my god, big disruptor though. Okay, beautiful spready there, but he's losing his Vikings. The Stalkers come forward. The disruptors on the ramp are huge. Another bunch of ghosts go down. I think Reynor's showing a little bit too much urgency to get up this ramp. These disruptor shots are so well spaced for Oliveira. Beautiful spacing for him on those disruptor shots, just using them one at a time and constantly keeping Reynor back. Reynor's counterattack starts to get some damage, but you can tell he's so focused on this side, he can't focus on both exactly perfectly at once. The disruptor shots are landing. The Marines and the Marauders going down. He's trying to clear this base up. With the Marauders popping out, he's going to finally be able to maybe There's only a few Stalkers. Everything else is just Disruptors. So with the Medivacs and Marines and Marauders popping out, he should be able to actually defeat this. The Bio on the other side, though, is getting split up. A few of the Marines and Marauders ran in and died to Zealots. He cannot fight the cannons, of course. He has to keep this army together. Reynor is now down 30 army supply. That's right. There's still a Stalker in here. A few Marines and Marauders popping out will finally clear these Disruptors. And he's finally going to get control of his production. But he's got to spring across and find these bottom bases. If he can go get those, he's still got a full base mining there. He's still got a few mineral patches here. And he can float one of these orbitals out to try and get more. But he's only got 4 orbitals. He did lose, I think, 2 orbitals and a planetary. Very expensive losses. And Oliveira knows what he's got to do. He knows that this base surviving is a checkmate. If he has 2 full bases mining, new base coming up in the north, it will be a winning move. But it's all about, can he defend it? He feedbacks the only ghost, which means the High Templar's there. Lands an okay storm, not a massive one, but I think with energy recharge, he should be able to get more of those soon. Oh, 4 Marines with the first Disruptor shot. Actually, very good value in a situation like that, where the fight is not actually a pitched battle and just a skirmish. Disruptors are still ready to shoot. He baits the stim out of the army. Stalker's blinking away. Disruptor shot goes forward. The Bio running back and forth. Reynor struggling to get in. He's going to force those Zealots to engage. There's no splash damage right now. He's trying to take advantage of it. The Colossus arrive. The Colossus arrive. The Disruptors do go out on the front line. They get focused. The Stalkers are tanking. The Colossus dealing damage. Is it enough here for Oliveira to hold the line? This Colossus must survive. If the Colossus go down, Reynor breaks this base. Reynor wins the game. It is nail-bitingly close, but a Zealot Warping comes in the south. Widowmine lands a good hit, splashing 2 of the Zealots, as well as the one that it does kill. The Marauders have to pull back, and that's a problem for Reynor. Reynor needs to break this base. He's up 13 army supply. This base is very exposed. There's a Prism there, though. Prism is ready to micro those Colossus, and that means you can't really snipe them. So they're always going to get picked up to safety. Oliveira looking good. Energy recharge is ready. Warp in a High Templar, and you will be good, but he's got no gas income. He has almost no gas income right now. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Oliveira, he's only got these 2 gases with a single worker on them. Oh, he's got to fix his gas mining. He's got to fix it right now. He's in a huge gas deficit right now. He's going to chase, though, on the right side. Reynor still has his top right base and a few mineral patches here, but that is it. He's also got a giant gas bank, which is good, but no minerals. Reynor down in army supply right now. This is not a planetary, it's an orbital. He's got to defend this base. He doesn't have Vikings. One comes down. A bunch of Marine Marauder from that south side. Orbital gets clicked on. Oliveira once again clicks on the command center. I mean, this man clicks on command centers more than I click on a thumbnail with cleavage in it. You know what I'm talking about. You know when you're just like, God, why did I even click on this video? I'm not interested in this at all. And then you kind of rewind what just happened in your head. And you're like, ah, simple man brain. Caveman brain took over. Screw you. Guy who put boobs in the thumbnail. That's not fair. Colossus, Stalkers, and Zealots coming for. I mean, to be fair, it's paid him off well. As a Terran, command centers are probably the worst thing at running away, right? The most annoying thing for Protoss players is you attack. The Terran just stims and stutter steps backwards. You can never catch him. But if you run in and click on a command center, he can't get that out of there, can he? So it actually is a nice way to kind of force the Terran to stand their ground and fight. Something which normally they're pretty much allergic to ever doing. 19 probes down here. We got 10 on that base over there. Base up the top as well. Zealots are going to find the northern base. It's been undefended this whole time, and that is huge. Because how the hell is Reynor going to defend that? I mean, what's the play here for Reynor? If you can't defend this base, you are screwed. He's going to send a pack of bio up there. He needs to send a medevac as well. I think maybe he tried to, but he maybe messed it up. Those SCVs go back. I mean, what do you do? He's got a Marine, finds this top base. That's good. Can maybe deny a few probes there. Takes some drugs, which does allow him to shoot faster. Don't know how you explain that one, lore nerds. Let's take out 3 probes. Good little hero Marine there. I didn't realize we had a big Gabriel on the map. Well, unfortunately, guys, we all know... Oh, my... Oh, Gabe, he just got sliced in half. Oh, no. He did say the other day, for anyone who's been reading Reddit or watching his stream, that the reason he doesn't play online cups anymore is there's just Protoss players. And I think we just saw what happens. He's like, yep, it's unfair, man. They slice you in half with their bloody side blades. Boring. Sick of playing just TVP on repeat. That's the reason why. I don't know if I even realized that was a graphic. A possible death animation for Zealot killing a Marine. That's cool, man. Zealots go after the SCVs. The SCVs are going to fight for a second before they do run away. Good defense here for Reynor. Did I call Reynor Clem at one point? I might have. He's playing very good. He's not playing like Clem, of course, but, you know, he's playing pretty damn good. Both of these players off races are just top-notch, man. I'm really impressed. To be fair, though, Rain is probably a bit tilted, right? I think he's going to feel that Terran rage in this game. He's like, I was so far ahead I was up 70 supply, but I just can't win. I got Sidestorm and Warbands. I'm a Protoss player. Don't worry, guys. You might be wondering, what? That doesn't sound like Reynor. Guys, everyone sounds like Artosis after they lose to Protoss. Doesn't even matter which game it is. There's just something, it's innate in the DNA of StarCraft. You lose a game to Protoss. Doesn't matter how well your opponent fought, how badly you fought. There's like a part of your brain, it activates the Artosis rage cortex, and you're basically just like, no, easy race, 1A, F2, F2A, you know. It's funny, because like, no matter how much more skillfully the Protoss played than anything you could ever pull off, you're just like, it's not fair, he has magic and lasers. And to be fair, Oliveira did make an epic comeback in this game, so we got to pay some respect, man. He's going to chase down this northern army. If you try to chase on the south, you'll be running into Psystorms. Northern base, only a few mineral patches left. Oh, another big storm catches the Medivacs with the storms. Reynor's going to have to type the GG, 2 capital Gs, one after the other. Oh God, I can't believe I lost this game. Oliveira ties up the series. Nicely done. All right. What in the heck? Oh, okay. Oliveira is sticking with Protoss, but Reynor has said, yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I'm taking this tournament seriously. You might not be, but it's tied up 1-1. I ain't risking anything. And fair enough, there's a lot of prize money for this tournament. I think it's like an $8,000 prize pool or something. He's not going to screw around anymore. He's like, look, I'm on match point now. If I lose this map, I'm done. I'm going to play Zerg. And his Zerg against Oliveira's Protoss, I mean, I don't know, Oliveira. You looked good in that last game, but your Terran early game versus Zerg was a bit sloppy. Your Protoss early game versus Terran, I wouldn't call it sloppy, but you did fall behind. And then you know, it was good Protoss, but good enough to take down Reynor's Zerg. I mean, this is going to be an uphill battle, and one has to wonder about the off racing there. Chat says, you know, guys, I tried to make Ultras versus Battlemech the other day. I didn't know Cyclones could hurt me like that. Ultras are the main attraction of Ultras versus Mech is it's the easiest way to just hold down one button and spend your money. And make a bunch of big tanky units that ignore Widow. They don't really care much about Widow Mines. They don't care about Hellions, and they're decent versus like tanks and Thors and everything, right? But yeah, they can be kited endlessly by Cyclones. Now, funny thing, if you're playing the Cyclone side of that matchup, the current version of the Cyclone, the Tech Lab Cyclone, it will automatically, if you just A move, they will only lock on one Cyclone to each target because it's such a high damage ability. But against Ultras, you'd actually much rather lock on like 2 or 3 Cyclones on each Ultras in a lot of situations. So just keep in mind, you need to manually be locking extra Cyclones onto them. If you've got like one Ultra chasing 8 Cyclones, you just A move and then run away. Only one's going to lock on. Whereas with the reacted Cyclone, it worked differently, where they would, because it was a much lower damage lock on, they would just lock on whatever's in front of them. They wouldn't have that kind of exclusivity rule. They were... They were poly Cyclones, yeah. We're going back to the monogamy Cyclones. You know, they respect each other's relationships. They say, that's your Ultra partner. This one's mine. But yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Cyclone's not the most, you know, well-rounded unit, though. Like, they can kind of do a bit of everything. But then the moment they get stuck in a situation where they're flanked or caught by a fungal, they just disappear. They're so fragile. So as nice as Cyclones can be, the Ultra swap against Mech, just for a single wave, can be very effective if they don't have many Cyclones or any Cyclones on the map. Especially with blinding clouds on tanks and Thors. The Ultras coming from 2 sides can be very nice. Robo for Oliveira. What are we doing? We're doing an all-in. Surely. You're not going to play Robo Macro, are you? I don't think so. Adept comes forward. Yeah, I would guess... just like a 5-gate all-in or something. We could be wrong. Oh, he's pulled it. Oh, he's doing the 1 Immortal build. Or 2? Wait, he's pulled off gas a bit late. He's doing the Haas build, guys. He's going to Chrono an Immortal, Chrono a Warp Prism, and he's just going to do a 7-gate Zealot. This is the dumbest, greatest build ever. It is no gas mining. He literally mined 83 more gas than he even needs, because he only needs to make 1 Immortal and then a Warp Prism and then slow Zealots. Now, this build is held by the Zerg stopping at less than 40 workers, preferably as low as 35, and getting a second gas and just making Roaches. Bad Roach Warren positioning, unfortunately. Really good against Glaive Adepts. Not good against this particular build, because it can get focused down by the Zealots and the Immortal quite easily, and you need to make as many Roaches as possible. And the thing is, because there's only 1 Immortal to deal with the Roaches, And the slow Zealots are so awkward, the Roaches can just kite endlessly against the Zealots, but they can't stand and fight with that Immortal, which is obviously a problem for them. Now, Reynor, he's got a Roach Horn, he's got a second gas coming in, he's mining gas right now, and that's actually a huge response. I think he's just playing so respectful, realizing, hey, you're not going to try and play a straight-up game against me, and it's 8-gate Zealot of 32 probes, no gas mining, and as that Prism comes out, he's going to pick up these units, and look at this, we're on Reynor's camera. That Prism's leaving, and Reynor should spot this. We're on Reynor's camera. It's in his vision. Does he see it? He sees it. He sees it. He knows stuff's happening. He's going to go over here and try to fight these units. The Prism does save. Oh, great move by Oliveira to block the wall off. But you know what's happening now as Reynor, don't you? You know exactly what's happening. There's a big all-in coming. You're going to make as many Roaches as you can. Lings as well would be nice. Tries to get a good fight. He's slowing the push down slightly, but it is giving a few Zerglings away. So you don't want to throw too many Lings away just to slow the push down. Ravages are making as well. That's going to give some really good bile potential on that Prism. 4 queens up front. Plenty of transfuse for those. Every single queen on the front now. There's only one Stalker to do with the overlords. I don't like the positioning for Reynor. I think those queens need to run north. These queens are, unless he wants to run south with them. Oh, the Lings are going for the surround of the Immortal and the Stalker. Great move there. The Stalker does go down. The Immortal survives. The Zealot's trying to fight right now. He needs to do another warp in, but he's exposed. If the queens get some hits on that Prism, that could be big. He can't warp in Zealots right now because he's worried about dying. Reynor! What? Reynor drops the question mark, the disrespect, and Oliveira insta-taps. GG. I think Reynor was like, come on, man, play Terran versus me. And I think when Oliveira decided to just off-race, he was maybe thinking, hey, dude, why are you disrespecting me by trying to beat me with Protoss with a silly all-in? Throws a bit of disrespect, back a bit of shade. I think they're pretty friendly with each other, so I think it's probably a bit more tongue-in-cheek. But either way, Reynor does end up winning a very fun off-race series. GG, well played.